Hey, how's it going? Hey, happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's well. First things first, yeah, sorry I was out last week. Didn't feel the greatest. I was just totally made a game time decision. Hey, Techno, hey, thanks for the resub. 14 months, dude. Thank you so much. And I'll call out the other sub real quick. I am Mingus. Hey, thanks for the resub. Prime 2 months. Thank you guys so much. Dude, already? Ilude, hey, thanks too. Tier 1. 12 months drink, 1 year today, dude. Dude, thank you so much for the continued support and everything you do. Takano, dude, thank you so much too. And I'm Mingus, thank you guys so much. Yeah, hype train as soon as I open up. How's everyone doing? So I'll get my apologies out of the way and then on to happier stuff. So yeah, I apologize. Last week I just didn't feel the greatest, and I was like, well, I could hop on and kind of pretend I didn't feel well or talk about not feeling well, and I just didn't want to bring that energy to the stream, so I figured I'll just cancel it. So I canceled it really soon, but I was like, every 5 minutes I'm like, am I up to it or not? And it just nothing more than just like, I don't know, stomach or something really bad. But anyways, enough of that. Mostly over that, but hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's doing okay on this Saturday. And weather. I'll talk about the weather. I usually do. Weather has been super. It's been back and forth. It's been the typical autumn or fall here in Minnesota in the Midwest. One day it's 85, next day it's 67, low of 46, and the next night, it's low of 80. So it's all over the place. Kind of like it, windows open for 2 days, AC on for 1 day, windows open for another 2. So pretty good weather so far. I think here it's a high of 80-ish today, and then like tomorrow 90, and then the high of 67 on Monday. So I don't know. I like it. I like this change, and a lot of change coming. A lot of change coming here with my stuff, but also with the weather. Yeah, fall. The leaves are changing. Back to school. So many things are different. I mean, I enjoy autumn because it's just it's a big change for everyone. For new schedules. If you have kids, they go to school, and then if they play sports, it's sports, and all of that good stuff. So, anyways, how are you guys doing? What are you guys working on? I know that you guys have been working on a ton of stuff. I see it in Discord, and you guys have been helping me out with some stuff too. I appreciate it. And I think, I don't know if anyone you saw, but I've been trying to get my nut server straightened out. Such a weird name. Trying to get my nut server straightened out. And PC Geek, thanks for the help on your config and D-message and USB fixes for disconnecting. That was super awesome. And I don't know where I went wrong because I found that same post and applied it. But for some reason, after I read your post like 3 times and applied it, it kind of worked. But yeah, nut is nuts. It is nuts. It is totally. It is, but it's actually pretty awesome. I got 3 UPSs I'm monitoring already, and some other cool things that I'll probably share later. So, anyways, been working on a ton of stuff. I've been also working on my like home lab / server room redesign and rebuild for a long time. It's been a long time coming. I feel like. I mean, I've talked about it for a couple weeks now. For me, I'm just kind of like overdoing like, the room stuff, and I've been just focusing on technology. A couple more things I have coming before I think I'm going to show it off. I think I'll do a late 2021 home lab server tour. Late 2021. I got to play the Apple card. You have mid and lates, and this one's going to be a late 2021. I think I'll get it out before next year. I don't want to wait till next year. I mean, I honestly don't even care about the year number. But I haven't really showed off my home lab since the very first time, which seems like ages ago, even though it was probably a year and a half ago. Yeah, I haven't showed it off, and a ton has changed. Not only the room that it's in, but also the technology, my stack. Like, I've showed bits and pieces, but I think I'm ready to show it off. And I need it to look nice. I need my cable management to look kind of okay. I took some risks, and I made some I'd say pretty bold choices, but you guys will be the judge of that when I get to it. So that's something I've been working on. It's like the second thing in the background I've been working on. So anyways, I know you guys are working on more exciting stuff than me, and doing home improvement and server lab, home lab room rebuilds and stuff like that. So let me know what you're working on, what I can help with. I know that the last thing that I released was, hey, thank you so much. Muhi, thanks for the resub, tier 1, 2 months. Thank you so much. Oh, lights are going now. I wasn't sure if they went earlier, but thank you so much. Tier 1, 2 months. Thank you. Thanks for the continued support. But I know that the last thing I released was a file browser. People seem to like it. I was surprised at how many people like it. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So if you have problems with that or anything, I know there are lots of changes to Kubernetes, tons of changes to Rancher. I've been debating putting something together or not yet. I'm kind of waiting until it is released, but I was kind of waiting until it's on the stable branch, which I don't think it is yet. And then just, trying to decide if people are still interested in it. Obviously, some people are because I get a lot of questions about it, but just trying to gauge your interest and prioritize everything I got going on. So I got 4 in the pipeline. I wish I could put them out to vote, but then that would spoil everything I'm working on. So I got to make those decisions. Anyways, so yeah, what are you guys working on? Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. Real quick, I'll get to follows. There were quite a few follows this morning, shortly before I started, I'll say. I'll start with Crazy Fire. I think that's on there. Oh, I should look on it. It's so hard to see up there. That's the whole reason why I have this other screen I look at, because the screen This it's and then my things flip. This is hard for me to see from where I'm at, so I have another screen. So anyways, I'm gonna go with Med Tralala. Hey, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Depro 100, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Patico, innovation dude, like it. Bimo, up and down. Kai Devrin, thanks for the follow, you guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then I'll just call it out again. I am Angus and Takano, Ilud, and Muhi 97. Thank you guys for the subs, continued subs, long subs. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So anyways, yeah, what are you guys working on? There's a lot of messages rolling in. So let's dive in. Let's see what you guys are working on, what you're thinking about, what you need help with, if anything. This hype train's in the way. Okay, first. All right, obviously it's kind of in the way, but not in the way because it's awesome. So anyways, PC Geek first. You were first. So you were like on it as soon as I hit that button. As soon as I hit the button. How's it going, man? How's it going? What's up? Happy Saturday. Yeah, happy Saturday. Yeah, it is Saturday and it's good. It's good. Saturdays, I know I mentioned this before. I have a ton to do in the mornings, but lately Saturdays have been a little bit slow for me. And then I feel like my day kind of starts now for some reason, because I'm usually figuring something out, doing last minute changes and all of this, and doing stuff at home, and I feel like my day starts now. My schedule's a little bit off still from being sick. I also hurt my back too. It was like double time, like hurt my back and kind of didn't feel well last Saturday. So still trying to get over all that stuff, but that's boring stuff. You don't need to listen to me complain. I'm sure you guys have plenty of other things to care about. Anyways, no route. How's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, yo. Sorry. One drop. How's it going? Wait, am I getting it? Yeah. One drop. Oi. How's it going? Oi. How are you? I love the oi. I hear it a lot. It's British, so a lot of other countries say it, but I like it. It's kind of like a hey, but a oi. Love it. No Rel, how's everyone doing? Good. I think everyone's doing pretty good in here. I'll speak for everyone. Hello, wave. Hello, good morning. Howdy, everyone. Morning. It's 10:04 p.m. Oh my gosh, no Rel. Yeah, that's right. You're so you're maybe a little bit east of the UK or near there. I forget. I think Netherlands, maybe. I think so. Banana, how's it going? Banana, bots up, bots working. Softwarette, how's it going? Haven't seen your name in a while. Hello, Kai. LOL. It's actually 1 p.m. for me. All right, so you're on West Coast. I know where you're at. You're on West Coast, so you're 2 hours behind me. What are you guys working on? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. PC Geek 4 p.m. You're on East Coast. I know. I got my times down, and the bot is up. Thank you guys for checking. Software Rat, working on a Minecraft plugin. That sounds awesome. What does this plugin do? I tinkered around with a little bit of Minecraft, mods. I won't even go as far to say I wrote my own Minecraft plugin, which sounds awesome. But I did a ton of modding. Like, for some reason, when it comes to software and games, like I get so into modding that I forget to even play the game. It's like this whole meta thing. Like, with Minecraft, I did it with Skyrim, World of Warcraft. Like, I would tweak and add every mod and tweak my UI like perfectly. Or if I was running a server, I would add all of these mods. If it was Skyrim, I was adding tons of mods and plugins to give me 4K real textures and auroras and northern lights in the sky. That, like, I wouldn't even play the game. I get so lost in the plugins and mods in general that I would do it. So. But awesome, yeah. So I don't click on stuff because I get distracted. Let me know what your plugin does. Super interested to know. Droid RZ Lover. Droid RZ Lover, that's red, that's hard to see. Sup, Tim? Not really doing much today on my infrastructure today. Just chillaxing today. I'm gonna go window shopping for 10G 10G switches. That's me every night, like, window shopping. I do it too, Amazon. I'm just like, do I need one more thing? Maybe. Right now, what is on my mind for 10G switches is a Cisco Catalyst WS4500X 16 SFP Plus switch. Nice. Might buy a pair of those and put them into VSS and run them in fiber into my bedroom and upgrade the computer to 10G. 10 gig. The switch in the bedroom is probably going to be a Cisco Catalyst 3560E 12D. I don't know that model, but man, that is awesome. Congratulations if you get it. Two, I wish I could. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been redoing my home lab room, server room. I couldn't really get 10 gig into there. I got fiber in there coming from the outside in. But I dread running more cables in my house because I've done it 3 times now. And, anyways, sounds awesome. Curious about the switch in your room. Is that just because you need more jacks, more ports? Or do you have a lot of devices in there? I run into that problem too. I've been throwing these mini switches now behind, so I have jacks to most of my rooms. And from there, if I need more ports, I put these mini switches, these Unify ones, these tiny ones. They're PoE powered. They're pretty cool. And they have VLAN support and all that. So is that layer 2? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So curious, what all you're plugging into the switch in the room? I love it. No route CS is the best time zone, yeah, along with CET. Anything that starts with C, I think, is a pretty good time zone. Takano, deal hunting at Goodwill. Awesome, man. I love it. I'm the same way. I haven't been in a while. I used to go quite a bit, and then my wife and I used to go too, and just kind of look. And even if you don't find anything, like I love looking at secondhand like thrift stores. It's like a museum, like a time capsule sometimes. You see all these things that remind you, there's so much nostalgia. Sometimes you find good tech. I've been really unlucky on finding like any tech at a lot of our Goodwills around here. It's either cleared out or just like, it's a little bit older stuff, like 80s stuff, which nothing wrong with that, because I was alive then, but, let me know what you're finding. My brother, he always like texts me like these awesome pictures of awesome things he's finding at Goodwill too. I'm like, man, ours are so picked over. Maybe you just got to get there early on the right day. I got to figure out what day they get shipments and get there that day. But let me know what you're finding, man. Kai Devon, mostly my home media server, Sonar Radar Plex, just got a new 4 terabyte hard drive. Awesome. Yeah, Sonar Radar Plex is a pretty powerful combo, pretty powerful combination. And it, for all the reasons, because you can get your media and then move your media. And there's a ton of cool like automation stuff that goes along with it too. So if you're setting those up all individually, there's a couple of GitHub repos out there that have pretty awesome home media setups. Where you can automate all that stuff too, to automatically download. Not that you should be downloading media, but if you were to, of course, non-licensed content, and then to automatically move and rename and categorize and do all that stuff for you, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I'm not that sophisticated with my media collection. I just rip and store, but. It's a lot of cool stuff. I wish I was more sophisticated with mine. I mean, mine's organized. Don't get me wrong. Mine's organized really nicely, but I don't have automation to do it. So it does sound awesome. I totally agree. Sigor, that sounds awesome. Droid. Yeah, I totally agree. 10 gig. Who doesn't want 10 gig? I do. That's for sure. Let's see. Droid. I'm just going to go Droid because the red is like, whoa. The VSS is basically combining 2 single Catalyst 4500s into a single logical switch while still having the redundancy of 2 switches. I like it. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. PC Geek, working on setting up the R520 I got. Nice, man. Yeah, how's that going? Nice. Your 520, is that going to be your... No, that's not your pfSense box. That's going to be your main virtualization server, I think. PC Geek also working on free PBX tinkering. Yeah, that's something I'd like to do at some point in time too, just for fun. I for some reason it would be kind of cool to just have a PBX. Do you have to pay for a service? I think you got to pay for some kind of service to have a line going out or a phone number, don't you? But it's something I'd love to tinker with at some point in time. Just to have a phone on my desk, like the good old days. I feel like good old days. It was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago when I had a phone on my desk. No route. GG, nice. Also working on free BBX. Said that. Xynol. I'm gonna go with Xynol. 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 X's always throw me off. Hello. How's it going? PC Geek may get some cheap Cisco phones on eBay to mess with. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah, it sounds awesome. There, I'm sure you can find a boatload of phones, and just because a couple of things. One is because that tech may or may not be getting phased out at enterprises, and two, like everyone's working from home, so maybe enterprises are upgrading their phone system for when people come back to something else, and so I feel like a lot of them are kind of dumping off a lot of that tech into eBay or somewhere else, or it gets recycled. But then those companies end up selling it to make a profit. To pay for their service to haul things away. But it sounds awesome. Brian Weber, hi and hello. How's it going? Null route. Oh, VoIP, right up my alley. Nice. Yeah. I got to check out free PBX. It comes up every now and then. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, I'd probably Google it and look into it and see how it's set up, but it sounds pretty awesome. iLude, not first. Nope. And actually, yeah, you're right. You are not first. How's it going? But not last. That's true. Not last. Well, sometimes. I think it's you or PC Geek that's usually last at the end of the stream. How's it going, iLude? How you doing? Mathney, how's it going? Speaking of usually first, how's it, Mathney? Dude, thank you. Has resub tier 1, 11 month streak. Hi. How's it going, Mathney? How are you? Sigor, after several failed attempts of getting Arch to run on my Dell T7500 with a 1080 Ti, I installed Ubuntu 2004 and haven't had any problem running any games or programs. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, Arch is, I've dabbled with it a little bit, but I keep coming back to Ubuntu. I go on these distro hopping binges every now and then where I'm like, hop on one distro, hop on another, hop on a different flavor of this distro, 5 versions of Ubuntu, Kubuntu, Xubuntu, Edubuntu, to check out all the different UIs. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to totally jump onto Mint. And then, I mean, those are all Ubuntu distributions, and then I try other Linux distributions, and I always come back to Ubuntu because it's I don't know, dare I say it's the Windows of Linux, but it's pretty user friendly, and things are generally well supported there. And I mean, they are other places, but with more tweaking. Droid Lover, PC Geek, I have CUCM running in my environment. I have no idea what the acronym sounds like, but sounds awesome. Let's see. One drop. Techno Tim, ever get Cert Manager working instead of Traffic's built-in Acme for SSL? Scale traffic to infinity when using Cert Manager. I have not yet. I haven't. That's it's definitely in my backlog. So we've talked about that a little bit in Discord and about scaling traffic in Kubernetes as your ingress, and there are ways to do it with traffic, but you would have to share. You're basically writing to the same, whatever your storage is, and the possible collision if you have more than one pod running could happen. And then on top of that, then your SSL certificates or your TLS or your certificates are stored in a persistent volume versus, I think, with Cert Manager, they get stored, I think, in config as a config option or config manager. Anyways, long story short, I haven't done it yet. I want to do it. It's just really tough. Like I'm sure it's a pretty easy swap out. I think I will at some point. I just haven't done it yet because mine's been pretty solid. I do have. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I have problems with my cluster every now and then. I have these weird. I don't know. I got to straighten some stuff out. But maybe this will help me straighten stuff out because sometimes. When that node dies or gets rebooted, obviously I don't have my reverse proxy, my load balancer anymore. I have traffic, the internal load balancer, doing anything, and it either takes a really long time for it to come back up or it doesn't come back up at all. And then I have the other problem is if I reboot my NAS. There goes my persistent volumes. And now, all of Kubernetes is freaking out because my certificates aren't there anymore. Which the other stuff it seems to be okay with, but the certificates is the one where it's just everything freaks out. So anyways, I need to look into it. It would probably help, kind of add a little bit more, continuity to my cluster. Because right now, don't get me wrong, like it's pretty rock solid as long as, I'm not rebooting things. And that's kind of where I want to be is I want to be able to take things in and out of my cluster without a problem. Now, Kubernetes is always going to have a small blip unless I'm running multiple pods, and those pods, that traffic is load balanced properly to those individual pods and they can handle scaling. But some of my pods can't handle scaling, so there's only one of each. Anyways, long story short, I have a couple things that I've been working on outside of Kubernetes too to help this out too, that you might see when I do my tour. I'll point them out, a couple of low power devices that help me when, Kubernetes is down, which Kubernetes is doing most of the work here on my network. But when that's down, when my load balancer's down, when other things are down, it's kind of painful. So I've been tinkering with something else that you guys will see. Anyways, long story short, I want to switch over to Cert Manager for sure. It's funny because, at first I had Cert Manager and there's self-signed certs, and then I got traffic and I was like, cool, I get certs now. Through traffic, don't need to worry about Cert Manager. I think I'm going to end up revisiting it because it is definitely combining the two is a super robust solution. Just say it there. Leave it there. Bad Pickle. Hey, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for spending your Prime sub on me. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Droid RZ Lover. What is that? Oh man, oh yeah, CUCM. All right, I wasn't the only one struggling with the acronym. No route. Peace Geek. Make sure you grab ones that can talk SIP protocol. Yeah, I've heard of the protocol. Don't know exactly what it is. Droid, Cisco Unified Communications Manager. There you go. There's the acronym right there. Nice. Yeah, I haven't done much with it. I mean, in my past infrastructure life, I was on a team that helped manage a communications platform, and they were like a big Avaya shop. Not so much Cisco, Avaya. I don't know if I'm pretty certain Avaya is still around anymore, but I don't know who the leader in this space is anymore. But so all the stuff I kind of knew about 8 years ago was Avaya related. Let's see. PC Geek. For show. No route. Some Cisco phones won't work with another other than using CUCM. Nice. Okay, thanks for the heads up. I'll have to check their spec. As long as it's SIP or PJ SIP. Oh, PJ SIP. New one. New acronym for me. Yeah, it's great when they can settle on a protocol and then they implement the protocol, because then you can go cross-platform. No route. I really like SNOM phones. Oh man, we're getting deep into phones and communication protocols. PJ SIP is a SIP protocol implementation. A fallen Ruby. Hi guys, how's it going? How are you? Droid Lover. All Cisco phones support CUCM, CUCME runs on Cisco routers. I like it. Here we go. Zynol. I'd have to go outside to know what the weather is. Yeah, I hear you on that too. I look out the window and I look at my watch or my phone. I'm like, yeah, it looks nice out. Wouldn't it be nice to be outside? I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't want to overplay it. I too rarely go outside. I'm just, I'll mow the lawn. I'll run in and out to the car, and every now and then I'll sit outside. But I'm not, I don't know. I just got a lot going on, making excuses. But don't get me wrong. I like being outdoors when I can. It's, I live in the city though, so I mean, we take dogs for the walk. That's going outside, but I guess there's a lot to see around here. But I've kind of seen a lot of it. I don't get outside as much as I should. Hey, Day Trade Bro. Hey. Day Trade Bro, I subscribe. Prime sub. Thanks for spending your Prime sub on me. Mo. Rather not say that I what? Rather not say that I want you. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. IoTME. That's hard to say. IoTME Labs. That's what I'm going with. Cheered 100 bits, dude. Thank you so much. Hey, you get to see my Mega Man, dude. One Drop gifted 5 tier 1 subs, dude. Thank you so much. One Drop. Oh my goodness. So. One Drop, thank you. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Witty Dan, Zed Mata, Dr. Control, Dr. CTL, or Dr. Cuddle. I'm going to go with Dr. Cuddle. ISO and Phantom Way. Enjoy your gifted sub from OneDrop. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. We need to talk more. You need to keep drill and cert manager into me. So I finally do it. So the day you ask me, like, yeah, I did it. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I got to prioritize stuff. And my cluster's good for now, but I need to do it. I need to do it for sure. Nut is nuts. Yeah, it is. Nut is nuts. I've been enjoying it. In the 12 hours I've had it up, if that, now 12. I haven't been up since 3 a.m. What am I even talking about? About 6 hours I've had it up. I've enjoyed it, and I've already tinkered and spun up a few other things. Pretty cool stuff. And I already got 3 UPSs working, one even a consumer grade that, like, I had zero visibility in, and now I can actually see how much load is on the device. It's pretty awesome. Let's see. Secor, LOL. Takano, so I have a really dumb idea, but why not? Hey, I like dumb ideas because they're usually not dumb. So I want to play games at school to kill time, but district blocks everything. So I had a plan of making a website which looks like a language educational site, like where this is going. There will be a login button, and if you log in, that will be able to access the actual game site. Yeah, go for it, man. I like it. Why not? Yeah, why not? As long as, and then if you could do everything over TCP, or I'm sorry, HTTP or HTTPS, obviously, I just mean the HTTP protocol, that would be awesome too, because they're not going to be able to block that. I mean, it'd be tough for them to block an outgoing, 443 request. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I like where you're at. Hiding under the radar. No route. Yeah, I know. I was saying some don't work with anything other than Cisco software, like the OpenSIP and RTP standards. PC Geek, once you get it running, it's great though. I totally agree. Like I said, I was banging my head against the USB disconnects over and over and over, and then I learned to just ignore them because I still think it does it. I stopped looking at dmessage, and I'm just like, nope, it's working now. I'm not even gonna peek in there. PC Geek JCX from Discord says hello from the darkness. JCX, how's it going? Yeah. Well, tell them I said also hello. I'll jump in Discord here in a little bit too and say that. OneDrop, Techno Tim, Kate's at home has a Helm chart for Nut. It works great with Kate's SIGs project node feature discovery. Nice. So I did look at, there are a couple Kubernetes. I'll reel it back a little bit, more generically talk about it. There are a couple Docker containers for Nut. I played with them and they work. It's just that, at least the one that I found, I forget what it's called. It's like UPSD or something, not UPSD. I forget what it's called. Real quick, HomeLab New, resub, tier 1, 14 months, dude. Thank you. 10-month streak. Hi, Tim. HomeLab New, thank you so much. 14-month streak. Wow, 14 months. Have I been on Twitch for 14 months? Yeah, I have. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. How's it going? UK or US? I'm betting UK. But so anyways, there are some containers that do it, that include the driver and include some environment variables, some simple environment variables for you to hook into, so you can pass those down and it'll basically write to the config, which is awesome. But I have a Triplite one, and Triplite is like the oddball of Nut. Like, it is the oddest one of them all. Like APC, CyberPower, everyone's like, yeah, I use this USB driver. Like, it works perfect. I set everything to auto. It's like magic. Not Triplite. Triplite is, it's like, I've saved some money on the UPS, but I'm paying for it now on the software piece. But it's not a big deal. Not with, after I got some help from PC Geek, it's all good. Yeah, so it's kind of the oddball. So anyways, so after I got it working locally, I went back to the Docker version of this because I wanted to containerize it because I didn't want to mess with configs. I wanted it totally stateless, like, all the reasons why I use Docker, and just pass in a config, basically in a YAML and a Docker compose, and say go and just have it work and just have it be repeatable. And I never have to worry about, accidentally upgrading some package that UPS Nut depends on, and then I break my Nut server because I ran some updates, like all the things, all the reasons why I choose Docker. Anyways, I'll have to check it out. But like I said, like I have a Triplite UPS, and that is definitely the oddball of them all for Nut. And so I'll look at it. I like that you have a chart for it too. Super awesome. Abdurrahim. I'm just going to say it all together. Abdurrahim. Hello, Tim and Chad. How are y'all doing? Doing good. I think everybody's in good spirits. I love it. People are generally positive in my channel. Thank you so much. Takano, only trusted people get an account as I ran previous game site a while ago. But the reason it got blocked was because 500 users on the same time from the district. All right. So you've done this before. Yeah, so just create accounts, issue accounts or passwords, and don't let them in. 500 users at the same time. This is probably your Minecraft server, I'm betting, because I remember I think you used to cluster Minecraft servers. I'm guessing, but man, that is awesome. PC Geek Home Lab Show. Yeah, it's kind of what it's been turning into. It's always usually about that because I release tutorials and people have questions or want to talk about their setup in their home, and I do too. And yeah, it's kind of what it turns into. Milleruk, subscribe Prime. Thank you so much. Thanks for spending your Prime sub on me. Appreciate it. Thank you. How are you? Kai. I had similar problem this summer. I just set up Guacamole and play games via XRDP on my Ubuntu computer. Yeah, good call. Good calls. Yeah, so if you go through Guacamole, then it is HTTPS, and then yeah, they'd be tough to block it unless they saw 500 people on their network all connecting to this endpoint or this IP address or DNS, and they'd be like, "Who's this? We should probably block this." And then they'll sniff the traffic, look at the protocol, but it would still be HTTPS. So I think you'd be good. Othrin, hey, how's it going? Prime sub, 12 months, 1 year. Dude, Othrin, how's it going, man? Good to see you. How are things in your world? So I know him IRL, but I won't say his name. I almost accidentally slipped it. How's it going, man? How are you? We need to get caught up, man. How are you doing? Thanks for the Prime sub, 12 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Happy Saturday. SC, I'm going with Skull. Skull, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Muhi, hi, how's it going? Takano, tried the same thing just via Windows RDP, but it would glitch out in first-person games. Yep, along with the Chromebooks, we have a pretty low end. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree that RDP is not the best thing for that. Parsec works wonderfully. You could try that, but on the Chromebook, maybe Parsec is installable on a Chromebook. Not sure. You could try Parsec, but then again, you're going to have some weird port that Parsec is trying to connect on, and that's easy for your school to block on the firewall too. They'll see an odd port going out, and they'll be like, "No, we only allow outgoing whatever 443," and so they're going to shut it down too if it's not already shut down. But yeah, good point. Dude, Home Lab New gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Dude, thank you so much, man. How's it going? Home Lab New gifted 5 tier 1 subs. So Diabetes Tech, Suede Tech, the dude with a baby or two, the sub network, and Griff. Enjoy your gifted sub from Home Lab New, the dude with a baby or two. I like it. I love these. I love just general names. Anyways, thanks for gifting the subs. All you guys enjoy your gifted sub from Home Lab New. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's see. Droid, I also wanted to add, when I get the new switches, I'm going to upgrade my servers from 11th gen Dell servers to 12th gen Dell servers with a 10 gigabit Ethernet NICs, specifically the two 10 gigabit Ethernet cards with 2x1 gigabit Ethernet ports as well. So the 2x1 gigabit Ethernet ports will be used for DMZ traffic. I like it. Yeah. So you're going to split those up. I like it. So the 2x, and then you'll have redundancy. You could lag them or team them and then put some redundancy on those, both for the DMZ. I like it. I like where you're going with that. Kai Devrim. Yep. RDP does not work with games at all. Yeah, it's some will work, especially not over WAN. Over LAN, you might get lucky. Not first-person shooters, not for sure. Just because the protocol wasn't meant to do that, and the algorithm it uses to paint the screen or draw is not optimized for 3D rendering. It's but yeah, I mean, unless you pull in some other technology from Microsoft. But yeah, generally speaking, it's not. It's like great for just general kind of browsing, remoting in, terminal, maybe some web, but not really video stuff. Works fantastic, like it's a great protocol, but not for gaming. Just wasn't designed for that without some acceleration or something else. Yeah, I haven't tested it since I found the chance to play games in class. You said you use XRDP. Yeah, I kind of haven't tested it since I found the chance to play games in class, and it was on Ubuntu, not Windows. Nowadays, I use Steam and home streaming and no machine. Yeah, great combo there. Yeah, I'm thinking of playing as Minecraft and so on. I knew it was Minecraft. I know you, Takano. I knew it was Minecraft. I knew that was coming. Nothing is really time critical. Yeah, for sure. Time in Minecraft, for the most part, a lot of downtime. So if you have a little lag, kind of okay, depending on if you're getting attacked by creeps or not. Zed, I'm going with Zed Mata. Started using Rancher's Longhorn for small deployment. Pretty impressed with it so far. Nice not to deal with implementing an entire Ceph cluster just for PDs or persistent volumes. I totally agree. For me, Longhorn was kind of a game changer because, it gave me high availability storage within my cluster for my cluster. So really a game changer for me because, you could allocate block storage for your persistent volumes, and then it would replicate across all your storage nodes. If one of your storage nodes went down, it's like, whatever, here's your file system still. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's great for most persistent volume stuff. Where it gets kind of tricky is like big persistent volumes. like a lot of people try to do it like they think, oh, Plex Media, this is great, and that'll work. Like if you have a media storage library, it'll probably work. But then if you're gonna use Longhorn along with something like a huge media collection, that probably shouldn't be on the local disk for those storage nodes. You should probably use NFS from there to make those connections from those storage nodes. It's kind of I don't want to say a hack, but kind of a weird link where you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to have persistent volume nodes floating around, but really then their storage is pointing back to an NFS server, which is, it works. But at the end of the day, if you have a large media collection or some large storage that is a persistent volume, that's where it gets really tough. And I haven't solved that yet. If you guys have ideas for that, let me know. I mean, I do use the NFS client provisioner. That helps ease things a little bit, but even that has its own nuances and quirks too, of how, it automatically creates the folders, and then you got to access that storage somehow from some NFS client somewhere else, maybe file browser, to make changes to that too. I mean, obviously you could use an NFS client to connect from a Linux machine or even Windows. Windows has an NFS client, kind of weird with permissions, to connect to your NFS server to make changes to those files or copy files in and out. But still gets, it's a chore. I'll say that. It's a chore. It's a chore to get files into a persistent volume claim, unless the container you're using bootstraps, that data on start or comes with that container. Getting data in and out is kind of a chore. Yeah. Sometimes it's, a kube control copy, and you wait for 10 minutes for it all to fly across the network to go in the container, and you hope it doesn't disconnect. Anyways, DJ Radar, I like it. DJ Radar, I like it. VIP, thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. How you doing? But yeah, Zed Media, I totally agree. Longhorn is super fun. Even if you never use it again, it's super fun to play around with and just to see your storage replicate within your cluster. Having block storage inside of your cluster that easy is pretty awesome. I think they're on to something there for sure. Rocking. I'm currently playing Minecraft. All right. Yeah, a lot of idle gaming. Yeah, can be idle if you want, but it's super fun. So glad I could finally catch a stream. Usually work when you stream. Hey, thanks. Well, I'm glad you're not working. I'm glad you're playing Minecraft and tuning in for sure. Kai, yeah. So I should look into actually fixing my guacamole. Yeah, me too. Mine still kind of works. Hype disguise. I like this. PC Geek. Oh, I like this hype disguise. Elk Hunter. Oh, I was going to say Elk Hunter. I was like, oh, I like this. Elk Hunter. I've been working on a Node.js Twitch event sub express application on a Discord bot with Twitch live notifications, an economy, and some commands. All right. I know that well. I've done a ton of Twitch bot development. Let me see. Let me break this down. So Node.js, yep. Twitch event sub, done it. Okay, so event sub are either using TMI.js, probably, or no, you're probably using the new Twitch pub sub endpoints that they have. Cool. Discord bot, got it. Twitch live notifications, yep. And an economy. The economy piece is what I don't know. So maybe earn points according to if they're in your stream or not, or chatting in Discord server. I like it. Sounds awesome. That's pretty cool. What's the GitHub? Yeah, is it open source? Thanks, PC Geek. I have one that's open source. It basically uses TMI.js. The one that I have hooks into every single TMI.js event possible, and it basically bootstrap an okay, I'll say okay, but a pretty good Twitch bot for you. Hooks into every event, and you get every event without having to write all that code. Day trade bro, just picked up a Synology. Just picked up a Synology 1621 Plus and setting it up with DSM 7.0. My previous Synology was a DS21J. Wait, DS21212J and a 1621. Wait, did you go backwards? I don't know I need to look at those models to see the what their scheme is. But congratulations on the new Synology. I look at those devices; they look so awesome. I want a reason every now and then to just get one. I haven't yet, but congratulations. That's awesome. What do you throw on your Synology? What do you do? I mean, obviously storage, probably media, probably backups. Anything interesting or unique or odd or anything at all? Let me know. I'm talking about Alconder's GitHub, but thanks. I knew that's what you're going with, but I knew you meant that too. I think PC Geek too knew that too, but maybe it's not open source. Manny01. Hey everyone. Hey Manny, how's it going? Let's see. PC Geek R520 will be the backup server. Oh, that's right. That's going to be either your PBS or just backup. Nice. Alt Bash, I have a question for you on Kubernetes. Fire away. I'll try to answer it. If not, guarantee someone in here will know the answer. PC Geek, if you want external calls coming into the PBS, you need a SIP provider. There we go. If just for internal, it's all for free. Awesome. I could just pick up the phone and call internally. Yeah. Now I see where you're going. So I can just have other lines in my home. I like it. That would be pretty awesome. One drop. Techno Tim, if you ever wanted to iterate over Rancher instead of using Flux. Let me read this properly. If you ever wanted to iterate over on Rancher and instead use Flux, check out, there's a link. So I'm familiar with Flux. You've brought it up a couple times. Yeah, definitely interesting to use it. I think you use it for GitOps. And it's more of a pull methodology versus a push. So I use push. When I write code or even for a lot of my containers, as they change, I use kube control to push those changes out, where I think maybe it's Flux is going to monitor a Git repo to do a pull. So yeah, I'm going to check it out for sure. Kai, that reminds me that I just set up a server backup that actually works now. The setup command, what am I even saying? The setup currently, Proxmox on a 2 terabyte hard drive, and my Mac and my other computers all back up to the 2 terabyte hard drive also. Then I use Restic to back up to an unlimited storage team drive. I also need to back up my school for just some extra backup. Lots of backups going on. I like it. So that I just set up. Yeah, that's awesome. Backups are one of those things that super important, sometimes hard to get right. But once you got them and they're running, it's fantastic. I backups on most of my stuff. So I backups on everything that I can't reproduce or that's not somewhere else. Is it all centralized in the same place? No. But everything I cannot reproduce is backed up. And, it's pretty awesome once you get there. It's pretty awesome. Same with VLANs. I'm like, once you get there, it's like, oh man, I'm so glad I did that. Backups too. Another thing, just throw out there about backups in general, test them. Test them before you have to use them. Because, test to restore, look at the files, make sure they have the files that are in there or restore a config to a device that depends on it because, you want to make sure that works too. So it's one thing to do it. It's another thing to test it. The testing, I'll admit, I don't test them as much as I should. But every now and then I do to make sure, hey, are those files still in there? Like, a lot of my Docker volumes for Portainer or from my, just my, plain old Docker servers, all my Docker volumes that are, mounted to the node, those get backed up. Every now and then I'll just go into my backup folder. Do I see the files? Yes, I see the files. Okay. Do I go into each individual file? No. But do I ensure that the files are there? Absolutely. I'll open one or two up just to make sure they're not corrupt. And then those get shipped off somewhere else. But anyways, backups, awesome. Test your backups. Maybe once a month. Just check the folder that's backing up just to make sure there's stuff in there. Test a restore. Restores are just as important as backups. Droid, I want to add, I'm going to have 2 switches in the bedroom. The current is a 48 port switch that is there now, and the 12 port XE3560E switch. My PC will connect to the 12 port X2 switch. Wow, that's a ton of ports. I wish I had a 48 port switch. I bought a 24 port switch, already kicking myself for doing that. I'm like, man, I should have bought 48 port. And at the time when I bought the 24, I'm like, am I overbuying? And now I'm just like, now I'm moving network cables around. I'm being lazy. But when your patch panel looks so nice and everything's mapped out perfectly, but then you have some dead ends, things that aren't patched. But I have jumpers in between. I'm like, now I got to move stuff around. Anyways, I'm being lazy. But awesome about your switch. 48 ports sounds awesome. You got lots of room to grow, I think. That was my problem too. I thought I had tons of room to grow, and then it's all of a sudden I have servers that have dual NICs plus IPMI, and you multiply that by 2 or 3, and there's 10 ports right there. It's like, wow, I'm running out quick. Zed Media, I also just decided to return my brand new 12-bay 2U Synology because it doesn't like my Ironwolf NAS drive. So very disappointed. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds like a good combination, a Synology NAS along with Ironwolf NAS drives. I mean, I run Ironwolf too. It's too bad they don't work. That's a bummer. That's a big letdown because not only do the drives not work, I mean, now the NAS you were super stoked about, you don't get to use either. So that is total bummer. Well, I hope you figure it out. If not, I bet they'll work with TrueNAS. There's some pretty good NAS, open source NAS out there too. But yeah, Synology is a super awesome product. Kai, back up to my school Google Drive, which is also unlimited and totally not sus to my schoolet. Unlimited. Wow, geez. Eldahunder, are you in this Discord server? Basically, the Express app collects the event subscriptions from Twitch and creates a MongoDB document. Oh man, you're speaking my stack at home. Okay, document in the streamer ID doesn't exist. If it does, it overwrites the document. So basically like a upsert. Then the Discord bot side monitors the MongoDB collection using change streams and sends a notification to Discord when it sees one. Yeah, totally. It's so funny you mentioned that because I was just like reviewing some of my own code. It's like, how does this work again? And I'm like, I use Mongoose and Mongoose. In Mongoose, you could subscribe to schema changes, which is pretty awesome because every service that's connected to that database, you can subscribe to database changes and all of the connected services will get the event. It's so awesome. And I was just like reviewing that code. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I solved it. That's how this service can talk to this service. They actually can't. They subscribe to database changes, and when it sees the change, it replicates through. But anyways, yeah, it's super awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see more. And I don't know if it's open source, even if it's not. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about it. Bad Pickle. Bad Pickle. I finally arrived when you're streaming. Good day, T. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm glad you made it here. Thank you, Bad Pickle. FreeBPX is a complex setup. I've been watching videos from Crosstalk Solutions on it. Yeah, he's got tons of stuff on communication stuff, tons of Unify stuff too. That's the go-to for me too if I'm gonna watch anything on PBX stuff. No Route. Yeah, I was gonna say check out Crosstalk Solutions on YouTube. Yeah, and like I was saying, he's a go-to for a lot of stuff. Even a lot of new Unify equipment. He's usually talking about it. Cameras. Anything Unify networking and also communications or PBX. That's my go-to also. Great channel. Elkunder, it's private right now, but I'm willing to share my code. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Kai, yep, I'm in his Discord. It sounds even cooler. I should learn Express and more backend. Yeah, it's super fun. I'm a fan of Express. You can spin up a quick web API server on Node.js and Express in like 3 lines of code. It's pretty awesome and pretty fun. All my private and public personal APIs are in Express, and Super easy. Super easy. I mean, if you understand JavaScript and you understand Node, super easy. And even if you don't, you can start it really easily. Sorry. Let me grab a drink instead of coughing in the mic. I feel like I'm standing up close. I'm going to stand back a little bit. So let's see. But also check out the Asterisk guide by Passcom. I got to check that out too. Cisco Unified. Oh, so that's the CUCM. Let's see. Elk Hunter. My GitHub is GitHub with say my name here. All right. I like it. I know you can't put links here. Yeah. Kai. Thanks. Actually, I have the CLI tool I made myself that will star all the repos in an individual org repo. I like that too. So yeah, I like that. So if you go to an org, you can run a CLI and say, hey, start every repo in this org. All right, go to my org. My org is techno-tim and go store all mine. Mine are tiny. Alt bash. Can you run Docker systems on Kubernetes? If you were able to read how to. Can you run Docker systems on Kubernetes? So Alt bash, this is probably your Kubernetes question. Let me, so I'll just real quick. So Docker runs containers, and Kubernetes runs containers. Kubernetes can run Docker as its engine to run containers, or it can run containerd, and there might be another one, to run containers. So really, how do I explain this? Kubernetes helps you orchestrate containers. Docker helps you run containers. And even Swarm helps you orchestrate containers. So they're all trying to solve the same thing, but in different ways. But to answer that question more broadly, like you would choose Kubernetes or you would choose Docker, but those images that you use or consume, the Docker containers, some people just call them Dockers, plural, but those container images can be run on Kubernetes, or it can be run on Docker, or it can be run on Docker Swarm. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it's just, a slight, nuanced terminology. Both of them are going to have some kind of container engine, and both of them are going to help you run containers. But you can't run, say, this is kind of, but you can't run like Docker itself or the Docker. You wouldn't run Docker commands inside of Kubernetes. I guess that's a better way to put it. Because at the end of the day, they're both trying to run containers. It can use Docker as its engine to run those containers. But Kubernetes is moving away from that to containerd to run its containers. But those images that you use, those Docker files, can run on both systems, or all three, even Swarm. Anyways, hopefully that helps. Alt bash, hit me up in Discord, or let me know if you have any more questions. Hopefully I explained that well. Sometimes I kind of hopefully I explained it okay, because sometimes if you're a beginner, it's kind of hard to understand. But I'm willing to take some time out and help you out in Discord if you need help. Discord, you can run Docker and containers in Kubernetes. Yes, it is a container management platform. There you go. Check any of Tim's earlier videos on Rancher Kubernetes. Heimdall is a good example. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. I explained it like the most complicated way ever. I should always scroll a couple lines down. But yeah, that's exactly right. Like, it's both of them are trying to run containers. Kubernetes just helps you orchestrate, those containers, and it can help you run multiple. It can do all different kinds of stuff, health checks, and Docker even can now. But at the end of the day, they're trying to accomplish the same thing, just in different ways. Avaya is still around. My work uses it. All right, yeah. I haven't said that word in so long. Back when, like I said, back when I was on this other team, it rolled into this bigger team that managed all of this communication platform, and Avaya was their tool of choice for communications. It was like Avaya and Microsoft Link, like head to head, and Skype, and I was just like, okay. Anyways, I won't go on about that. Yep, I already followed. Thank you. Oist. I like it. Hi Tim, I'm on vacation, far away from home. All right. There was a power cut at home while I was away, and one of my Unify switches is gone dark, bringing some stuff down with it. Has this ever happened? It's really annoying. Can a power cut destroy a switch? Everything's working okay. Can it destroy a switch? Sure. I mean, when the power comes back on, there can be a surge, there can be brownouts, and sometimes when power goes out, it'll flicker on, off, on, off, on, off right before it really comes on. I mean, it shouldn't. In a perfect world, it wouldn't. It would be, clean off, clean on. But power is pretty complicated stuff. Can it happen? Yeah. I mean, could it? Yeah, for sure. So let me see. Power cut at home. Unify switch has gone dark. So it is interesting though that it's only one switch. I mean, but you never know. You never know. I mean, I've had. So I know this isn't a switch, but my UDM Pro before my one time a power outage corrupted my UDM Pro's database that it's running. I think it runs MongoDB internally. Power outage totally destroyed that database to where it got corrupted, and I had to restore from backup. The backup I had of my UDM Pro. No, it's not a switch, but same idea. So, but switches don't have, they're not reading and writing to a Mongo database that has a chance of corruption, but there are other things that can happen. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that can happen. Hopefully it's not a hardware issue. Hopefully it's you do a hard reset, it's fine. But it stinks when you're away and that happens. Speaking of NUT and UPSs, I mean, it's a good idea to have your switches on UPSs. Surge protector at minimum, but even just any kind of UPS, put your switch, put all your networking equipment. I just gave my neighbor my old UPS because one, I upgraded some of them, and two, he didn't have one. So I was like, here, take this, put your modem, your fiber modem, and put your access point on this, on this UPS. And when the power goes out, you'll have 2 hours of internet, and also protection against surges and all this stuff. But I mean, if you're running, some nice equipment at home, put it on UPS for sure. Because even if things don't happen, I mean, just a flicker of power is annoying, especially if you're like on a Zoom call or something, or you're working, annoying. If it's 5 or 10 minutes, very annoying, and if it's anything longer than that, then, I mean, you're kind of in the same boat as everyone else in your neighborhood. But yeah, I don't know. I have all my stuff on UPSs that I really care about. And I'll say that. I mean, I really care about my TV, but I don't have it on there. But this PC, all of my servers, all of my networking equipment, and all of my other wall stuff that you'll see soon is on its own UPS for both surge protection and power outages. And like I said, it's not only surges, but brownouts. Too much power is bad. Not enough power is just as bad. So kind of stinks. It's unfortunate. It stinks when you're not there too. And you're just like wondering, like, what is going on? Especially for me, it'd be my switch. If my switch went down, that powers all my PoE devices, which is all of my cameras and my access points. So if that's down, like the whole house is down. So anyways, I hope you figure it out. Okay guys, it's, I'm gonna look real quick for mentions because I try to keep it just to an hour so I don't blabber you guys' ear off all day. But let me just look for mentions really quick or where you mention me, because I do want to stick to my promise of being roughly an hour. Keep it pretty, loosely an hour. Let's see. No mentions. No mentions. All right. I know. Techno Tim, TLDR. RENUT, node feature discovery plus labels on Kubernetes nodes when PCI. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Devices are plugged into the node. This is useful when you want, I assume, want to set a node affinity to K3s Helm deployments and have to schedule it on a pod and node with PCI or USB bus. This blew my mind when I first discovered. Oh, I see what you mean. So I got it. You mentioned this before, like basically applying pod labels for affinity so that basically, if you go down to UPS power, you can say, hey, only these pods can hop on this low power device, which I have coming soon. But say you had a Raspberry Pi that was PoE powered, that PoE switch was then on a UPS, and that Raspberry Pi knew that it was running on power at the time. Yeah, you could apply labels to that node and say, hey, I'm whatever, I'm PoE, and set an affinity or a taint, one or the other, however you want to solve that problem. Basically saying, hey, only these pods get scheduled on, this node if I'm in low power device. I like it. That sounds pretty awesome. That sounds pretty awesome. You got some awesome automation going on. I got to check it out. But yeah, awesome. So awesome. Thanks for refreshing my memory on that too, because that's going to help me here in the future. Still looking. Droid. That is the plan. I have a 10 gigabit Ethernet over to a 4500X, and the other 10 gigabit Ethernet go to the other, because the 4500X switches are going to be in a VSS. I can have either channel running over 2 channel switches. Awesome. Sounds awesome. Man, you guys are so advanced compared to me when it comes to networking. And Techno Tim, hit me up anytime in Discord if you need any K3s advice. My last few years have been slowly working at getting a stable K3s cluster working at home. There are so many nuances. Hey, I totally agree. I've been running K3s at home for, I think it's about a couple years now. Yeah, it's more than you guys have seen on YouTube, because I was doing it before that. And there are so many nuances, especially when you start scaling. When you scale more than one, yeah, I think you solve most problems, but then you run into other nuances, like we were talking about earlier. Hey, in a low power or no power situation, I might have 1 or 2 or 3 Kubernetes nodes up that are on super low power devices, Raspberry Pis or an Intel NUC, where I only want the most critical things to now move on to those devices until the power gets restored. Yeah, that stuff is super, super tough, and there are so many nuances. And then figuring out, what we were talking about earlier too. We were talking about persistent volume claims. And so in my low power scenario, I shut my NAS down. So what the heck do I do now? Those are still problems I need to figure out too. But yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. We should bounce some more ideas off or post them in Discord for sure. I'm all ears. Real quick, Tinkerfoo, hey, how's it going? Tier 1, 10 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I think, Skull has Prime sub. I announced that earlier. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see. If you just joined, I'm just calling out mentions right now because we're getting close to the end. I want to make sure I'm answering people's questions or responding to people who want to say something directly to me. Hey, Techno Tim, I have a lot of services in my home lab that are deployed using Docker, but it seems like Docker ignores host-based firewalls like UFW. Do you have any tips to make the host more secure? I mean, so generally speaking, I solve a lot of it with VLANs. So I have trusted, untrusted, kind of trusted, not really trusted networks, and I have VLANs that most devices or most services, fall into those categories. And then if they're in that category, then I just say, hey, this is trusted network traffic. Yeah, it's going to happen. So anyways, long story short, so a couple things like, there's a couple ways you can solve this. First, I mean, like I said, I mentioned I solve mine with VLANs and then firewall rules. And then I say, I generally trust these devices on this network. I have a Portainer server that's basically not external at all, only serves internal needs. And so it's on my internal most trusted network, same network that this machine's on, that this stream's coming through right now. And so I don't have a need to restrict and put firewall rules in place for that machine, because I say that this device is generally trusted. If you didn't trust it as much, then you put it on a different VLAN, and then you put up a reverse proxy or something that says, hey, everyone here's got to go through this reverse proxy and put it on the less, to get to that machine. Make firewall rules that way. But then restricting individual services and ports on the device too, along with Docker, and Docker loves ports. That's how Docker solves everything, is ports on the node. That's tough. Yeah, we can talk about it. Post something in Discord. Let's start a conversation about it, about how we can make a Docker host system more secure, because there are things you can do on the host, but there are also things you can do in your infrastructure and putting it in the right place, or firewall rules, or like I mentioned, reverse proxies, or things you can do to make it more secure that way. But yeah, it's a tough problem. JCX, hey, how's it going? Finally caught the stream, no longer in the darkness. Woo! How's it going? Good to see you. Nowland 47, hi from Japan. Hey, hello. Is it morning there? It's probably, it's what, 6 in the morning? Ohayou gozaimasu. How's it going? JCX, Borg backup is amazing. If people haven't heard of it, deduplicate. I can't say that. Deduplication, ZSTD compression, and works over the network too. I've heard of Borg, haven't used it, but it sounds awesome. OneDrop, Techno Tim, Flux can also be configured to be push-based using their webhook receivers. Like it. Google Flux to push-based, and you'll see how it's implemented. Awesome. Because, yeah, like I mentioned, like my custom code, I don't have to, but I do push only because I use kube control to deploy my deployments and my services. And, you know, I know kube control and I know how to write manifest, so it's easy, and I can use it anywhere, and it works the same, but I'll have to check out Flush and a push. Not that I think that I should. If I feel like if I go to Flux, like I should solve it the Flux way, and maybe that's a pull. Totally fine with that. Totally fine with that too. I would just have to re-architect stuff, which would be super easy, right? I write some code, I tag some code, I push it up to Git repo. Flux is watching that and says, "Hey, I just saw a new tag. I'm going to pull that down and deploy it." Super awesome. The thing I like about Flux then is you don't have to solve the networking problem of pushing. The networking problem with pushing is either you got to open a VPN tunnel to be able to kube control into your Kubernetes API and say, "Hey, deploy this thing," or you leave it wide open. I mean, not wide open, it's secured, but you do it over the internet, over SSH, and you push it that way. Well, with the poll config, you don't have to do that because it's monitoring. It's going the other way. So yeah, totally like it. I love it. I just gotta see how it would fit. But I'm definitely interested in reading more about it for sure. And I have read some about it, but yeah, thank you for you're pushing on me. I like it. Let's see, Abduram and chat, can 3CX phone system be integrated with Nextcloud talk for a high-performance backend? Just a thought about that. Would be really cool if it can be done. I know that Nextcloud supports voice. I don't know if it's using a third-party solution. I thought they did bring in some kind of third-party solution, but it's still under the Nextcloud umbrella. I'd have to let someone else speak on that because I haven't used it at all. Johnny in Full Effect, watch and rewatch your video about when to host bare metal, VM, Docker. My current decision is usually Docker on a VM or K3s. When to choose either of those? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I'm going to, there are a couple more. All right, two more. So I'll spend a little bit of time on this. So when to choose between Docker and K3s? I mean, that's kind of up to you. How much pain do you want? No, I'm kidding. So doing it on Docker is still going to give you containerization and all the goodness that comes along with that. Same with K3s. On Docker, you only have to solve for one process or one host. And I'm just going to speak generically, but if you have one host and you're exposing everything on a node port or the host port of the node, you don't have to figure out load balancing, certificates, firewall rules, concurrency, any of that stuff, because you have one node running, you have one process running, you have one IP for all of that. If you go to K3s or Kubernetes in general, unless you're going to do a single node Kubernetes, we'll exclude that. But the reason why a lot of people would use K3s is for some of the other benefits you get from K3s or Kubernetes in general. You want to scale your pods. You want to have more than one. You want to have higher availability. You want to have health checks. You want to have all the things that Kubernetes is really good at doing, which is make sure that my services stay alive. If one of the services in this pod dies or one of these pod dies, bring another one up. Maintain at least 2, 3, 4, 10. Auto scale if the load gets above a certain level. Constrain resources for these pods. So it gets kind of complicated, but at the same time, gives you some really awesome enterprise features. So anyways, when would you choose one of those? I think you win either way. If you're containerizing stuff, I mean, I have nothing against not containerizing stuff. There's things I did this morning that were not containerized. I tried to shoehorn it in sometimes. But, you know, there's a time and a place. And so just generally speaking, I would use K3s if I wanted to make sure that I wanted a service to be running all the time. If I wanted to have multiple nodes to be able to run that service. So when I say nodes, just think servers. So if I had 4 VMs and 4 VMs across, you know, all of my infrastructure, and I could say in Kubernetes or K3s, hey, make sure that at least one pod is running. I don't care where you schedule it. I don't care, you know, what server it runs on. Just make sure it's running. And Kubernetes is really good at that. But therein lies the problem, is that it might be running on node 3, and so somehow you have to be able to communicate with node 3. You don't know which IP address that is. You don't know anything about it unless you do some digging. So you do that with an ingress or a load balancer. And that's where some of the complication kind of comes in with Kubernetes. How do you get traffic in and out of Kubernetes? And you usually do that through an ingress or a load balancer. And so that's where a lot of the complexity comes, is getting traffic out, not so bad. In is the complex part. And there's things to help you. Nginx has, an ingress controller. Traffic has one. I think everyone does now, where you can, use that to get traffic in and out of Kubernetes to that pod, and it will route it to that pod. So if it's on node 3 right now, and it dies and it goes to node 2, well, the load balancer knows, because it tells the load balancer can check. And then the next request comes in and goes to that node. So anyways, like I said in the beginning, how much pain do you want? If you're doing it and you really want to learn K3s, absolutely go for it. I think it's a great technology to learn. It's nice to be informed too about Kubernetes, just in general, just to kind of know the bits and pieces, so that if someone talks about it, hey, it's like, yeah, I understand that, but I don't understand this. So I think in general, it's a good thing to learn. Like it's ubiquitous now. Like every single company is using it or wants to use it or knows they should be using it. And so it does not hurt to at least be informed about it. So that's why I did it, to learn, because a company I worked at was starting to use it, and I thought I want to get ahead of this, and that's where I did it, and I went real deep. So, and it's still being used. I mean, who knows? In the future, there could be something that replaces it, but for the foreseeable future, that's what a lot of companies are either using or going to. So, anyways, that's a lot about K3s and Docker. Either one is a great choice. Also, a lot of the things that you learn about Docker are transferable to Kubernetes. Is the syntax? No. Are the ideas about how containers work, environment variables, volumes, how you mount those? Yeah, a lot of that is transferable, because at the end of the day, they're both built to run containers. So either one is a great choice. Docker's definitely a good intro to containerization, K3s or Kubernetes in general. The entry point for me was Docker. So I honestly, I had to kind of learn them both at the same time. It was kind of like drinking from the fire hose, but take it one piece at a time. Okay, so can you make an updated self-hosting home lab your services with SSL with the new Rancher and Traffic 2 configuration? So my lazy streaming, can I make an updated one? Maybe. Maybe that's a good point. So to answer your question, can I make one? Yeah, absolutely. It's on my to-do. In the meantime, if you check out my documentation, if you go out to techno-tim.github.io, it's there in my GitHub. I have a documentation site where I actually have the post on how to do that. Do I have a video for it? No. But do I have all of the commands you run, along with a lot of context that people from the community have contributed to? Absolutely. So check that out. So if you want to do it with K3s or even Rancher, newer versions of Rancher, and you want to do it with Traffic 2, I have a full post on there. Just go to my documentation site and search for Traffic or possibly SSL and any keyword, and it should come up. Okay. All right. I'm talking a lot. Hey, I just started to learn. So Elk Hunter, I just started learning Node and Express. Hadn't coded anything more than a few PowerShell scripts prior to coding this bot. Congratulations. I was right there with you. That's how I got into programming. Absolutely. And it wasn't even PowerShell. It was more batch and CMD. But yeah, I went from scripting to coding. And that's when I started to realize, like, hey, I don't need to depend on other things I don't need to depend on tools to do things for me. I can make those tools. And so that was a huge bridge for me to cross right there, is when I went from scripting to programming. I mean, they're very similar. And PowerShell, it is arguably has objects too that you can work with. So PowerShell is way more advanced than where I started. So I think you're off to a good start. But yeah, it's super fun. As soon as you're able to write a little bit of code to solve your problems instead of trying to find some tool that does everything but the one thing, that's where it starts to get fun, especially when you're doing stuff like writing tiny, small clients to go out and check, hit a REST API and get this data back and then do something with that data and then do something else. That's what I love doing that, just interacting with web APIs that way. It's super fun, super fun. Okay, guys. All right. It was nice of you to give UPS to your neighbor. I love your little community. We all seem super friendly. Definitely 15% and the 15% of decent folks. Hey, JCX Life. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I offered it up to both neighbors. I had two. One neighbor said yes. One said no. I was like, all right, totally fine. I'll donate the other one. But yeah, he was super stoked about it. He's like, this is awesome. He was just saying like, oh, I'm on calls with clients and the power's gone out and it's, and that's all I do is calls with clients all day. So hopefully it helps them out. Techno 10, I'm looking at getting a Dell server, 720 XD or an R820. I'm currently using an old gaming rig as my Proxmox. What would you recommend? I'm looking for 512 gigs of RAM in the server. Or an R820. I don't know enough about an R820. I know an R720 pretty well. I mean, it's all going to come down to cost, at least for me, on older systems that are probably both still DDR3. It comes down to cost. And then, and you mentioned Proxmox, so it's going to be a hypervisor. I was going to say, yep, absolutely. Make sure that you're using, a 720, properly, and not that you can use it improperly, but it has a ton of compute, which means it will draw, a lot of power. And so just make sure that you're going to use something that's going to use that power. You mentioned a hypervisor, so that's what I was going to recommend. 720s are super cheap right now. I haven't looked at the going price, but you can find some fully loaded with hard drives and lots of RAM. 512 is a lot. I usually see them with like 192. I don't know if if you need 512 gigs of RAM, I don't think you'll be able to get that at an R720. You might have to check me on that, but I thought that one supported up to possibly 256 or 192 or something like that. I'm not sure. But not bad choices. I mean, they're great choices. They're pretty affordable for what you get. You're going to get a ton of compute, and it should be able to handle everything that you want to throw at it. 512 is going to be tough, but I'm sure it's possible. But on older systems like that, it might not be because the chipset. So you'd have to check to make sure. All right, I gotta wrap it up. Do you guys use a .env for config files, secrets, API keys? I have seen people with both options since I'm not super familiar with coding. Are there benefits to one over the other? So real quick, .envs, I would go that route only because one, you're not supposed to commit them to code. You shouldn't. Some people do, whatever. Sometimes people commit example ones, but then don't commit the real one for your secrets or your passwords. I would go that route because at the end of the day, those are going to set environment variables for you. And so when you deploy that code into somewhere else that's maybe running in a container or on a machine, whatever, you can set those environment variables to match. So it's always looking at the environment variable. Locally, it'll, how it works, locally when it spins up, it's going to basically create those environment variables for you from that .env file in code. But then when it's running somewhere else, it's going to look for those. I would go that route. .config files, I mean, I've seen people commit stuff in a config file that then ships with their code, but not .config themselves to be used like a .env. I'd say .env is more widely used. I mean, it's used by a ton of projects, and not just code, a lot of infrastructure stuff too. Repost, could you skip by? I think is a good idea for a video to do a self-hosted solution for identity management system, e.g., a system with a web UI that users can access, which then can provide SSO functionality. Ooh, I like it. Look at all these requirements. GitLab, Proxmox, OAuth 2, custom development applications. Another idea is a VPN solution that can use an external identity above thing with the web portal UI. Nice. Yeah. Done a little bit of identity stuff. I'd have to look to see who's doing open source identity management that gives you all of that in a friendly web UI. But yeah, all Jaxes, great idea. Absolutely. Keep them coming. Xavier, that's a lot going on. Xavius D, Techno 10, didn't realize you were in MN? I'm your neighbor over in Fargo. Yeah, Fargo. Yeah, you're not too far away. L Hunter, Techno Tim, I'll send you a message Discord with repost public. If you want, take a look at it. Thank you. All right, guys. I apologize, but I do have to wrap things up because I've gone way over this time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for chatting. So much conversation. Next time I'll maybe spend a little less time talking about stuff, but I get super excited about what you guys are talking about, and I feel bad that I have to skip over the stuff at the end. But I do want to be respectful of your time. And then just so you guys know that, hey, you could tune in for an hour and that's usually going to be about it. So I'm not keeping you here all day on a Saturday or maybe a Sunday morning or wherever it is for you, because I know you got other things to do. If you want to talk more, if you want to chat more, you want to post things, you want to share things, you want to talk with other people who are interested in this stuff too, join our Discord. Discord's full of tons of people. I think we're almost to 5,000 people who are interested in tech, who want to learn, who want to grow, who want to laugh at memes that are tech related. It's all in there. So I encourage you to join. It's a great place to be. And I think it's a fantastic way to learn about things. I lurk a ton. So anyways, join if you're able. Both iLoot and Pizza Geek posted it. Yep, there it is again. So join. I encourage you to join. It's a great place to be. Low pings and pretty friendly group of people. So I encourage you to join. Anyways, I will be back next Saturday, absolutely, here on Twitch, and I'll have something for you this week on YouTube. So I encourage you to check that out. Have a great rest of the weekend. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the subs, the bits, the follows. Like, this is still incredible. Every time I end the stream, I'm just like, wow, that was awesome. And I really mean it, so I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the weekend. Take care, folks, and be good to each other. Take care.